Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of Laneside Reviews, and on this episode we're going to be at Brad Angelo Lanes, finding out what it takes to go pro. Alright guys, so welcome back. As always, I am Rob Johnson, and today we are on location in Lockport, New York at Brad Angelo's Lanes. Now, as you know, we started our new series, What It Takes to Go Pro. And who better to ask than a two-time champion, PBA star Brad Angelo. So we're going to take it inside and ask him what he did to go pro, what he thinks it takes for us to go pro, and maybe he'll have a few tips or tricks for us. So why don't we take it laneside and see how we stack up. Alright guys, so as I said, I am joined by two-time PBA Tour winner and incredible coach, Brad Angelo. Thank you very much for joining me here.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. So as we talked a little bit off camera, Scoops and myself are going to be doing our first PBA event and the Team Canada Trials. And we really want to get your opinion on what you think it takes to go from that 180 to 200 average house bowler to an actual professional bowler, because I think there's actually a pretty big difference between the two.
Certainly, a 180 to 200 average house bowler is just that, a 180 to 200 average house bowler.
Okay.
It's really hard to fathom just how good the guys are on the PBA Tour. I can vouch for the fact that after bowling against them now for the last 15 years, if you don't know what you're doing and if you don't have any level of experience whatsoever, you're going to get your face beat in.
Yeah, well,
often.
Absolutely. We were at the winter tour in Detroit in January, and I was watching guys average 260 and lose 3 out of 10 match play games.
Sure.
So when you were becoming a pro, what did you do differently from when you were just bowling in the house to actually going out on tour? What made you so successful?
Well, I can tell you, I mean, my mentor, in my opinion, the number one bowling coach in the world, Rick Benoit, I have learned so much from him over the last 15 years of working with him on a day in and day out basis.
Okay.
And what I've learned from him is that you take anybody, no matter where they're at, and for the most part, if they succeed, the reason they succeed is because they're just better than everybody else.
Okay.
At whatever level they compete at.
Okay.
They get to a next level, and if they're still better than everybody else, then they succeed.
Okay.
If they reach a point, once they start reaching that point to where they get at a level where they can't succeed, then they either have to be inspired to get better, or they leave the sport.
Okay.
And I think that's probably the big problem with the sport of bowling, at least here in the United States and Canada, is because it's misunderstood. Having said that, so few people really have the type of knowledge that they need in order to succeed. And by that I mean, quite simply, what I've learned from Rick is, what's the most unique thing about the sport of bowling? What's different? What makes bowling different than every other sport in the world? And I'll ask that to you.
I'm not sure. Well, I know we're the only sport where there's so many different things affecting how the game goes. The oil, the equipment, everything. It's really a game of chaos.
Game of chaos. Rick Benoit says that bowling is the only sport in the world that competes on an invisible course. And by that course being invisible, and all the bowling balls going down on that invisible course,
okay,
that invisible course continues to change shot after shot after shot.
Absolutely.
So with most people, they succeed because they're just better and more talented than everybody else, but they still lack that knowledge to be able to navigate that course as it's changing.
Okay.
Most of the students that I teach that have success, example, Zach Wilkins, he was already better than everybody, and most people in Canada, if they don't know who he is, they should know who he is, because he's putting their country on the map around the globe.
Absolutely.
Okay? He was better than everybody. And all I did to help him was, I didn't work on anything physically with him. I taught him some knowledge to where he has a general understanding of the sport of bowling and how that oil moves around, why the oil moves around, what bowling balls make the lane change differently than other bowling balls, and some of that stuff, and then he can keep his own identity and his own creativity and make changes based on what he thinks, not based on what the magazine says this ball's going to do. Because as we all know, every bowling ball does the same thing. It goes long and hooks hard, and that's what we all want. But that's not what we want.
Okay, and I imagine that that's even more important on the Pro Tour, because you've got people out there who not only know how to play the oil pattern, but how to change the oil pattern to fit into their game.
You do. Not as many guys on the PBA Tour as what you would think really know. They may say they know, but very few really do know. And that's not a slam to the guys on tour. It's just that when I went on tour, I didn't know either.
Okay.
But I thought that I did. People formulate theories based on their successes.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
But what happened was I met Rick, and he started saying things that made so much sense, but I didn't like it because it was contrary to some of the things that I believed. And then he blew holes in these theories, and then I didn't want to talk to him anymore. But then I couldn't help but kind of listen into his conversations because he made so much sense that, you know what, what am I going to do? I want to listen to what he has to say because he's right,
Yep.
but I don't want to tell him that he's right all the time. And I went through this chaos in my own mind for the first 4 or 5 years that I was on tour. And then, as I continued to listen to him and work with him, because he was the Brunswick staff rep at that time,
Okay.
Since has parted ways with Brunswick. I have parted ways with Brunswick, and now have a relationship with him that he's not obligated to work with me. He only works with me because of the relationship that we have on a friendship level. He's actually going to be in town here at my bowling center next week. July 2nd through the 5th
Okay.
is a 4-day camp. And then July 6th and 7th is a 2-day camp,
Okay.
which is a weekend. And then he's available for some one-on-one lessons that following week. Anybody that's within driving distance, which Barrie, Ontario is,
Absolutely.
anybody that's within driving distance, I can promise you it'll be money well spent for you to come and hear from who is regarded as the #1 bowling coach in the world.
You know, it might not be actually a bad idea for Scoops and I to come down and see him, because for those of you who watched our ball reviews, you've seen how we bowl. If we want to get to the next level, like Brad, we're going to have to come out down here and see how we stack up. So until next time, guys, I am Rob Johnson, and this is Brad Angelo, and we'll see you laneside.